The Shield has a match at Elimination Chamber, and instead of having a match with, I don't know, maybe like Team Hell No, where they win the tag team titles or something like that, they have a match where they are guaranteed to get their asses handed to them.
Not only that, but they're guaranteed to fucking lose.
Yeah.
They're taking
If
on
the
the
Shield
Justice League
win this match, I
of the
would
WWE.
You guys are so cynical.
John Cena, who I believe his last time getting pinned clean was by The Rock nearly a year ago.
By the
You
way,
have Sheamus,
I'm pegging
who
Cena to actually get
maybe
the pin.
lost clean a whole 5 times last year. And then you have Ryback, who they protect the fuck out of and only got pinned because of help from Brad Maddox. And
So
a
wouldn't
low
it be
blow
that
and a
much
fast
more
out at Hell in a
impressive
Cell.
when they do pin them?
No, they're not going to pin them. These 3 are the most protected, pampered, fuck people on the entire roster. Okay? They're
Brandon
not taking
Mayhew
pinfall.
has
At
Tourette's.
most, you can pray that like one of them pin Sheamus because he's like the lowest on the totem pole out of the 3 of them. But
It probably will be Sheamus, but
Cena
I
just broke Braden.
I'm on the side of the Shield. I believe in the Shield.
I would believe in
believe
them
in
if
the
they were up
Shield.
against anybody else but these 3. I mean, have you ever seen a more unstoppable, kid-friendly team in your entire life?
Listen, they're going into Mania, and I doubt they're just going to be brushing the Shield aside as we're going into Mania. They got to have plans with them, and they got to look strong going into it. It's okay for them to beat these 3 guys because this is not going to be the end of the show. They got all this other stuff to go on with the Elimination Chamber and Rock and Punk, so they can have this little crazy moment where Sheamus and the rest of the Justice League loses. It's not that big of a deal.
To them, it is. To us, not so much. But to
Well,
the big
think about it
company,
this
the
way.
3 big guys got to
Cena
look
is
strong.
building momentum, right? Cena's building momentum towards Mania. Do you think they're going to have him job out to the Shield?
He doesn't need to be the one to take the pin, though. But I don't
Yeah.
think he's going to lose this match.
It's not going to
before.
hurt those guys at all. A pin from the Shield is not going to hurt any one of these guys' reputation going into
No, but
Mania. They'll
you're
be able to do
thinking-
anything they want.
You're thinking as an outsider. You're not WWE creative who governs under Vince McMahon, who sits there and is like, people want to see Cena, people want to see Ryback,
Well, we're all thinking
people
as
want to see
outsiders.
Grapefruits, Genetic Jackhammer.
This is where I stand on this. I'm worried that this whole match was booked as these are the 3 guys that could take out the Shield. So we're completely justified in having them beat the shit out of the Shield. And it'll make Ryback look good because we've had him lose every important match that he's had
Because
since
he's been looking like shit ever since he
right.
debuted.
It'll give Sheamus something to do where he doesn't have to get pinned in the Elimination Chamber, and it'll give
Sheamus.
John Cena a match where he can pin somebody and look strong and move on the next night.
do that
Meanwhile,
whole thing where he pushes his arm back after the victory and throws it up in the air like he just won the Rumble again.
right.
While he
Meanwhile,
points at the sign.
their opinion of the Shield will be it doesn't hurt them to lose this match because the next night on Raw we can have them attack whoever we want to fight at WrestleMania. And we'll make them look real strong on
Oh,
Raw.
don't worry, they'll win the tag titles on April 7th. It's all cool.
I
They're
know,
just
you know
planning
what
them
they
to
should
win
do?
a
They should have
championship.
Cena and The Rock win the tag titles of Team Hell No, and then have them looking like a team that are really annoyed with each other and frustrated up until Mania. Then The Rock costs Cena the win, and now they have something, and it's legitimate heat.
Well, if the Shield wins this match, I'll be very happy because it'll be very interesting.
They need it.
I think having them lose will kill the mystique of the Shield. It's like, oh, okay, so these guys can't. They're not a dominant force. They get beat now. They'll end up like the Nexus or anything else where they have this huge amount of hype going in. There's the super group that has to assemble to fight this force. Then they beat them and they go downhill.
I kind of don't even think that they have any mystique anymore, honestly.
Mike, let me ask you a question, right?
Hmm.
If the Shield lose,
Hmm.
what do you feel that they can still maintain their momentum?
Absolutely not. If the Shield loses, the Shield will split before WrestleMania.
There you go.
Now,
And
if they
that's
do
it.
lose, what do you think that they'll be doing at WrestleMania? Nothing, or
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. At that point, Punk will be going into Mania facing whatever he has to do, and he will be doing it alone. They're already trying to pull Paul Heyman away from Punk.
Well, if they actually break up the Shield, it'll be too soon because to me, I mean, they can act. Maybe one or two of them can stand on their own, but other than that, they're just gonna be D-lister wrestlers instead of featured wrestlers.
This is, this reminds me, and I keep going back to the Four Horsemen because they were a very dominant heel faction. When you have a heel, especially a heel team like the Shield, they're very young. The WWE is going to try and justify that the loss won't hurt them because they're like early in their career at the moment.
No. They say that, but they mean
Yeah,
the
they're not-
loss won't
they're
hurt them
gonna
because
try.
you really needed these three to win to
Yeah.
look good to go into the big show that comes on after
Now
that.
you've got three guys they've got an invested interest in. They've got a vested interest in Sheamus, in Ryback, and in Cena.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is, Cena's going on to supposedly one of the biggest main events in WrestleMania history. The Rock versus
Again,
Cena
for a
2.
second time, except this time it's for the title, and I conveniently won the title, and you just happened to win the Rumble on and it happened that way. Fate made sure that it just didn't happen once.
For me, if I was a betting man, I would bet on the Justice League.
Yeah, the Super Friends, Justice League, the Not So Avengers.
As an armchair booker, as people like to call us, if I booked the match, I would have the Shield win because they need to remain credible. They need to be the Horsemen. They need to be the dominant heel threat at the Mo that can't be stopped. They need to be unstoppable. And the one thing that's going to keep WrestleMania's mystique and it's going to keep things interesting is if you have these guys around the corner willing to do whatever it takes to destroy the WWE Championship match in its entirety with Cena versus The Rock.
I'm going to bring up 3 points.
It's sort of like the same thing that the NWO did with WCW.
I'm going to bring up 3 points here. One of them you're all going to hate me for. That'll be the third one. First point, you're talking about armchair booking. I wouldn't even book this match, period. Because to me, I would have had Sheamus in the Elimination Chamber match. I don't care if he gets pinned. He can get pinned by whoever he needs to have a match with at WrestleMania. If they want to make Randy Orton turn heel, have him be the one that pins him, and have Randy Orton get pinned by Sheamus, and have Orton attack Sheamus afterward, and then have a singles match or something like that.
Or
so on and so forth.
Could have had Orton as part of the basically the Team Justice League and have him turn heel on his teammates.
Point number 2. I would be fine with Team Justice League winning if it's not a squash match and if they include Brad Maddox in here. I would like to see them do that where maybe the ref gets bumped and we need a replacement ref. Who is it? Brad Maddox. And he screws the Shield out of it. That, I think, is a way to make the Shield not look as bad. And
because it's not a legitimate win. That's the thing.
Yeah, but that's going to make the 3 good guys look tainted. All they needed help from this shady referee. We can't have them look like they took advantage of the rules.
I don't think that's going to taint them, really, though. I think that's going to be because WWE has this method.
Is the most.
They're hypocritical as hell, though. That's the thing. They have this methodology where if a heel cheats, oh my God, he cheated. It's the most awful thing. If a babyface kind of cheats, it's he evened up the score and that kind of a thing.
They've been doing that for forever, though. Hulk Hogan used to do back rakes and eye gouges. That's nothing new.
Right, yeah. So that wouldn't... I don't think a Brad Maddox interference would screw Team Justice League at all. But the third point I want to bring up, and this is the one that is going to piss everybody off, I don't like the Shield. I think that the Shield is a terrible excuse for a group. I think that the name is stupid. I think that the gimmick is stupid. I don't see the point in it because they haven't stuck around CM Punk and built around him like the straight edge society.
Supposed to be separate entities.
I agree with you about the gimmick. I agree with you that the Shield is a shitty gimmick.
You think it's a shitty gimmick?
I think that the Shield, we're going to shield everybody from whatever. I think that they're bullshit.
I'm going to add a but on this, right? The 3 individuals make the gimmick work. They're not. It's not about them being the Shield or protectors or whatever the fucking shit. It's about these 3 guys being hypocrites, and that they're aligned with Punk, but they're distancing themselves from Punk in order to make Punk seem legitimate still.
Well, my basic
So
point.
that's the whole issue with the Shield now. But the three individuals that are part of the team are making it work. They look dominant as hell. They look as badass as hell. Right?
I
It
don't
doesn't matter
think
about
that.
the gimmick itself.
I
It's like
think they're
Team-
on par with aces and eights.
I disagree.
They're
Oh,
way
Aces and
better
eights.
above
No,
than
eights-
Aces and
eights
Eights.
are-
Way better
You don't
above
see
than
Jay.
Aces and
You don't
Eights.
see Jerry Lawler turning heel, going outside, cutting a shitty promo, getting
I'm a
some
part of the
half-assed
Shield.
idiot to wing the Rock's knee, and then go back to the announce table and acting buddy with everybody again.
And
Now,
they're
I'm
not
not-
wearing masks. There's not 30 of them.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying they're the exact same gimmicks or anything. I'm just saying I think that they're essentially the same. They're just this
No,
thrown together shit fest kind of.
I
But they
disagree.
have three talented guys, and all three of them they would have been better off if they would have been solo.
no, I disagree. I think
They would have
the
gotten lost in the
position,
shuffle.
the position that the three
Well, I
guys
wouldn't have
are
brought
in,
them in now anyway.
the
the
position that
thing.
the three guys are in is perfect.
I
And
agree.
eventually, as soon as they let their intentions known, as soon as they basically align themselves with Punk, it will be better. You will see a horseman. And I keep saying this because it's the perfect heel gimmick, it's the perfect formula. You need these guys to surround Punk. He needs them, they need him. And they will legitimize each other down the road. Don't sit there and look at this gimmick as an outsider thinking, oh, it's a shitty gimmick and it's not going to work. It's working. And the reason why it's working is because these guys look as dominant as hell.
But it won't
because
work.
they're so
It
badass.
won't work
And
past
it won't
the Sunday
work.
once they lose,
Yeah.
though.
Exactly.
If they get demolished on Sunday by the Justice League, then the whole potential for this gimmick is going to go down the shitter.
It's dead
And
in
we
the
know
water
that.
as soon as the
It's the
pinfall
same-
is counted.
It's the same thing with Ryback. They attempted to try and protect Ryback with Punk. It only went so far. They
Well,
should
because
have
the
had
guy
him.
can't work a 15-minute match at all without blowing up.
And that's the
You
problem.
cannot work a match for
Gimmicks aside, you need people to pull them off. If you don't have talented individuals to pull these gimmicks off, you're going to have guys who will end up losing and going down the card because they don't know what they're doing. The Shield
I
have
know.
potential to be a dominant tag team, and also if they choose to have two of them one for the tag titles and one of them one for a mid-card title, you would have a very dominant faction with Punk, a very Horseman-esque faction with Punk, and that's what they need at the moment. They need a heel running roughshod over the main event. They don't need The Rock versus Cena, and that's the whole issue. If Cena turned heel, or if The Rock turned heel, or one of these guys turned heel for the WWE Championship match at Mania, I wouldn't have had an issue with it. But the problem at the moment is you've got the same storyline being rolled out from last year, but you have the title on the line. That's it.
Who final call? Does anybody think Shield's going to win?
Nope.
I want them to,
Nope.
but I'm going to say no.
Same
All
here.
right. So we're gonna see what happens with that. That'll be interesting because we got a lot of conflicting opinions here, and a lot of the same ones at the same time. Everybody kind of wants this to work out the best for everybody and hopes that it doesn't turn into a squash. The next part we are going to talk about is going to be the World Heavyweight Championship match between Alberto Del Rio and The Big Show.